All right, we're going to be talking about Tyler Perry's The Paynes. Now, it has been 8 episodes into this series, so I thought that maybe it's time to kind of sit back and, well, just talk about the show. I was really going to do this video after this season hit its mid-season finale point. That way, when it comes back later on in maybe June, if it does take a break, I don't know for sure. I mean, I know that the haves and the have-nots and If Loving You Is Wrong typically does a break where they'll have maybe 10 to a dozen episodes. They'll be off the air for maybe 2.5 or 2 months and then come back later on in the year for the second part of the same season. If the Paynes is going to do that, I don't know. Since it's a new show, we'll just have to wait and see. But I feel like 8 episodes in is a good enough time to kind of talk about the show as a whole. Now, I actually went back and rewatched episode 8 before recording this. It is Monday night when I'm recording this, and I just want to get your opinions. How do you think the show is doing so far? Now, what I don't want the comments to just be all about is, I miss the old cast, bring back CJ, bring back Janine, bring back Calvin, and the fire house crew and everybody like that. Let's not dwell on the fact that the characters, aside from Curtis and Ella, are gone from the show for now. I really believe that the door is still open for people like Jasmine, CJ to visit Curtis and Ella in Florida at some point during the season, as well as other characters from the same show or other shows like, Medea was on several shows before. We have Mr. Brown, Hattie, Floyd, and the list goes on. What I want to talk about is the fact that I actually did something else. I actually went back and watched like the first 5 or 6 episodes of House of Payne. Could I actually have the first few dozen episodes on DVD? I know there was a time where Walmart had House of Payne and Meet the Browns, like, not full seasons, but maybe about a good 15 to 20 episodes in DVD packs for $7.50. So I want to compare and contrast. I feel like the weakest part about this show, what's really holding it back, in my opinion, is the fact that there aren't as many good jokes in the show. A lot of the scenes are just way too dragged out, in my opinion, because at least with House of Payne wasn't a perfect show, but it was a pretty decent, a pretty good show. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of people feel the same way, hence why they made a spin-off series with, the Paynes. I just feel like a lot of scenes in the Paynes are just really drawn out for no good reason. I mean, at least at House of Payne, the episodes are more or less 20 to 22 minutes. So obviously there isn't but so much they can do. However, look at the fact that each episode is pretty much just one subject. Like, okay, this episode is, where's Nyla? So we're looking for Nyla, so we're just going to stay in the laundromat with the kids the whole time. Or in last week's episode, I believe, is, okay, Curtis talked with what was it, Travis, the guy that was beating up Nyla, and knocked him out with one punch. Pretty good, because that was a good Curtis Payne moment, showing he doesn't respect men who hit women. And the rest of the episode, it's like that happened in the first 5 minutes. The last 15 minutes of the episode were just long, dry, and just drug out for no reason. I mean, the end result was Nyla was invited to stay with her kids at the Payne's house, but that's about it. That's why I say that when it comes to the Paynes, I typically will most likely wait maybe 1 or 2 weeks, let the episodes bank up, and then I'll watch them together, because there's really no need to stop and sit for 30 minutes because not too much is going to happen. I mean, like in this episode 8, the first 10 to 12 minutes was literally Nyla downstairs with the TV. I wouldn't say the TV was super loud. I feel like her laughter was louder than the TV itself. That woke up Ella and Curtis. Both went down at different times. Hey, could you quiet down? Okay, no problem. Wait, did you record over my TV shows? Oh yeah, I did. Then the next morning, kids went to school, didn't want the breakfast. Then Nyla came downstairs after being woken up, same way she woke up the Paynes. And they established, don't record over our shows. You got to be up to see your kids off to school. Clean this, clean that. And I'm going to do another video about Calvin and Nyla. I trust and believe I will. But I really do get a Calvin vibe from Nyla in terms of just the way she talks to Curtis and Ella, I wouldn't say it's. I feel like her son Kenny is really disrespectful, but not Nyla. She's more of a, oh well, I didn't really know. I mean, to be honest, she didn't really know. On screen there hasn't been like a, you can stay with us, but here are the house rules. But I mean, there are just some things you do and some things you don't. But whatever. But overall, I mean, I don't feel like this show has the same level of, I don't want to say quality, but it doesn't have that driving force that House of Payne did. And I mean, it's easy to pick at this show because, hey, these are for the most part new characters. They haven't been on the show that long, as opposed to Calvin and everybody else who we had, what, over 100 plus episodes to get to know them. But I'm talking about the opening episodes, like the first few. I feel like House of Payne, even though they stayed in like the same set area for maybe most of, if not the entire episode, even though scenes might have been drug out, there were at least some humor in them. It probably helps that they had a lot more characters to work with, as opposed to the Paynes where, for the most part, Curtis, Ella, Joanne, her son, Nyla, her two kids, and then we really don't know much about Travis. Oh, wait, is it Travis? No, I'm thinking about If Loving You Is Wrong. Sorry about that. But I mean, this show has potential. Don't get me wrong. I feel like it can get better. Maybe it's because it's taken more time than expected for these new characters to establish themselves, especially since it's only been one episode since Nyla and the kids moved in with the Paynes. And to be honest, it hasn't even been a full day. I mean, she got the invite that night, and then this episode was her staying up late, and then it ended with the next morning. So maybe by the end of this season, my perspective will change on it. But for now, I just feel like this show hasn't quite captured the magic that House of Payne did, you know? I just feel like even if the scenes are in the same place for one episode, there should at least be a mixture of good jokes. There's a difference between 20 minutes of slapstick, or, you know, I better not say that. There's a difference between 5 minutes of back and forth jokes, some work, some don't, as opposed to 5 minutes of two characters just talking, but most of the dialogue isn't even dialogue. It's like facial expressions, body language, and you'll notice, like, literally, tell me I'm wrong. Look at an episode of The Paynes and then just see like Ella says something to Curtis, and then it's like a 1 to 2 minute banter of, wait, what'd you say? Ella, I ain't here. I was doing this. It doesn't really stick because it's not funny. It feels like it's just filler, you know, like I was a communications major, and when it comes to public speaking, there are the filler words like, you know, and, but, I sometimes do it on the channel. I mean, hey, I'm not perfect, but most of these things are just me looking at bullet point notes or just talking because literally I just finished the episode, so I want to do this video while it's fresh. I feel like the show isn't as great as House of Payne, but I do think it can be. I just feel like it's going to need a few more episodes, especially after we get to know this new cast. But like I said before, it's not so much about the cast as the execution of the show itself. In some cases, I feel like, you know, the script writing isn't that good as it could be. It really goes back to the laugh track, in my opinion. The laugh track, it really bothered me when this show first started. It's not as bad now, but maybe that's because during the opening episodes, we had more characters in the same scenes. You know, we had CJ and his family, Calvin, Curtis, and Ella together for most of the scenes. If it wasn't the entire group, it was at least 3 to 4 people in each scene. So you look at the dialogue where everybody has to have a one-liner plugged in there. Some work and most of them didn't. But there was a laugh track after every single sentence. That was annoying. It's kind of died down now, but instead of a laugh track coming in like every 30 or 5 seconds, it's just those long pauses I was talking about, where one character will say something, another one will just I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's like they don't really say anything. All they do is just, huh? Or make a funny face. And yeah. So with that being said, you know, I don't want to make it sound like I'm ranting or talking bad about the show, because honestly, I'm glad to see the House of Payne spinoff. You know, I'm glad to see Curtis and Ella again. I just hope that the quality of the show does improve, just to prove that it's not just a filler show brought back so Tyler Perry could either fulfill a obligation on his contract where, oh, I had to make X amount of shows for OWN before I leave to go to Viacom. I hope that's not the case. But with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Have you enjoyed the Paynes, or do you feel like me, the new cast aside, do you just feel like the quality of the show isn't quite where House of Payne was? So please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Literally, I don't know why you haven't if you're a Tyler Perry fan, just because I do videos like this every week. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you later.